This is The Real Truth Conversation Series. I Say Podcast Network. Truth is LLC. We live from the gym complex. I'm sitting here today. Very special individual. Honored to be here. He goes by several names. Shemuel.
Yes, sir.
Shemuel Namaste.
Yes, sir.
Summertime Shem. What season you in right now, brother? What season?
Well, you know what I'm saying? You know what's going on, man. It's hot, so we summertime Shem right now. You feel me?
All right. So, we gonna get right into it. Tell us about young Shem.
Man, young Shem, military kid. Mm-hmm. Straight from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah, Shreveport, Louisiana is where I was born. My dad was in the Air Force. And, we moved up and down the Atlantic Seaboard. I lived in Plattsburgh, New York. Stayed in Elberton, Georgia. Shout out to Elberton, Georgia. You know what I mean? 706. That's where my grandma's from. Stayed with my grandma for some time. I've been in the upstate since I was 13, not to fully age you, but I'm 37. So I've been here a good 20 years of my life over. So, I call the Carolinas home. Yeah. And currently residing in Greenville right now.
So the traveling around, it makes sense of what we're going to get into later. But traveling around, experiencing all of these different areas.
Yeah, for sure.
What did you come up listening to?
Oh, man. I love Outkast, Scarface. I didn't get to Jay-Z until my high school years. It was like probably when I was coming to a man. I think Jay-Z was just talking over my head. And I knew he was really snapping. But I was more of a Nas guy coming up because Nas kind of spoke to my grunge sensitivities, the message. It was written like that. Those my joints. Outkast, Spotty Audiopus, Jazzy Bell. I used to love Outkast, man. Shout out to Outkast, Andre 3000. I was big into South music. And then, I started, when I got probably to my 20s, it was a lot of Jay-Z. Lupe Fiasco. Fiasco is one of my favorite artists right now. Yeah. Black Thought. The Roots. I love the Roots.
Absolutely.
I like soul music, too. I was into, like, the Temptations and, of course, Marvin. Like he's probably the pinnacle of like all soul music that I like. I love sampling. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
When we was talking about having this conversation, we talking about this conversation for the culture.
Oh yeah.
It's ironic because that was my first interaction with you.
Yes, sir.
I came out to an event. Shout out Culture Shift Entertainment.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Chemo.
Yeah, shout out Chemo. Shout out AO. I came out there.
Yeah.
And when we came out there, it's certain individuals you may have a very brief interaction with them, but it's memorable. And I remember,
appreciate that. Yeah,
I had never met you.
Right,
you came up. You said, "Hey," you introduced yourself. You was like, "Hey, man, keep doing your thing."
Yes, sir.
And it was just an energy I felt like. It's something with that, bro.
Most definitely.
Definitely.
I like seeing creators, man. I've been following the things you've been doing with the I Say Network. The different iterations of all your platforms. Yeah. And I know how tough that is. Consistently. Scheduling, consistently. Coordinating. Being ready for the camera, and you were doing it then. That was what 2018. Yeah. 2017 Culture Shift. Yeah. So I have to give it up. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because I'm in the same space too, and I understand how tough it is. Like, we're one type of person. When, the cameras come on, we have to show a side of ourselves that makes the viewer comfortable.
Absolutely.
And, you might have way more to you than that. And you can see that sometimes when I'm watching a lot of your content. I can tell that you have a depth. And, so it's sort of like, I see the divine in you as you see the divine in me,
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro.
For sure.
Yeah. So we hear this word thrown around all the time, though, culture.
Yeah.
And we're doing it for the culture. What's the culture to you?
The culture, man. Sunday afternoon drives down Pleasantburg, you know what I mean? you know, dipping it in and out of 2-5, you feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Going over there to Tasties and get you a soul food plate.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Used to be Sarah's Kitchen when I was coming up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Go to Carolina Fine Foods and get you some hair bows in the same shopping plaza. You know what's going on. Like, you know, Belle Meade, Piedmont Manor, you know, not being somewhere you ain't supposed to be, but you connecting to the people. Hearing what they have to say, it's really the code and ethics of the people that are the natives.
Okay,
I consider that the culture. Like, so, you know, even if it's like, you know, we eat mustard with our sandwiches over here. You know what I mean? We eat mustard with our fish. You know what I mean? We get 2 pieces of white bread every time. That's the culture.
To the roof of your mouth.
Okay.
Yeah, that ain't the real bread if it ain't doing
if
that.
it ain't doing that, man. If it's tearing right there, well, what are you doing? That's not the culture. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, Black and Miles, you know what I mean? And cigarette, you know, the guts out on the side of the spot over here, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sitting on the stoop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being on the stoop with your partners, ain't really got shit to do all day.
Yeah.
But we here together. And we shadow boxing. You know what I'm saying? We casting quick bets real quick. You know what I'm saying? We shooting out, you know, our favorite, you know, lyrics here and there, and somebody else finish it, you know. You know, calling your moms, you know, things like that. Like, I consider that the culture, I believe. Just our way of living. You know what I mean? Our way of living.
Yeah. I saw something and it slips my mind who said it. I read something where this artist put up and said South Carolina needs to turn into a no-fly zone. He said that we allow all these big-time artists to come down here and get hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
And we don't tax, but we can't go to their cities and do the same.
Right.
What you think?
I think we need, I've been talking about this, we need to organize that. You know what I'm saying? Because when 2 Chainz stops through the city, when you stop at Maze, Future used to stop at Maze, Migos, all these people done been through the upstate. Who they check in with? You know what I mean? Who they come to spend money with? You know what I mean? To put money to our culture. You know, they're extracting the money because you got to pay for the ticket. You got to pay for the meet and greet. But in what ways are they tapping into what we got going on here? You know what I mean? Like, we just had the Fashion Bash in Spartanburg. Shout out to Top Flight Rental. And, you know, there's, you know, PG Raw performing. You know, you got Jay Bills, you know, performing. You got Seti Hendrix. Seti Hendrix was the last one. He come from Atlanta. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, that was one way of Seti Hendrix having to tap into what we have going on here. Now I'll be like, okay, you just can't come and perform. You know, come and get some dinner at Papa Nook's. Let's go get a chef salad. You feel me? Something slight. Let's come and do an interview here at the gym complex. Like, get it booked. It has to be like ways you really check in. So it creates the validation for our own platforms and the work that we're consistently doing. First of all, you know, there's a lot of South Carolinians that can go pound for pound for any other artist in the country, and I mean that with my whole heart. Sure. You see how my energy switches up because I'm serious about that. It's a lot of dopeness that we have, and you know, Chadwick Boseman just came right down from the road.
He did.
Now he's a global icon. You know what I'm saying? Little Mexico down the road. You know what I mean? He's with, you know, Dirk and them, like doing his thing. I went to his birthday party. You know what I mean? It should be more love. Dirk should come and stand next to him. You know what I mean? Yo, this is my people's. Like this, we shooting a video here. We're doing it right here in the soil. That's going to help his commerce. So, you know, definitely other cities have it. Atlanta. You know, you hear about it with Trick in Detroit.
That's what I was going to ask you. That was going to be my next question. Because anytime you hear check in, no fly zone, it carries a negative connotation.
It does,
because we're already thinking about, okay, if I got to have somebody to check in and they say I'm not checking in, then where we going?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then you mention the name, like you can associate Detroit, Trick.
Easy, right.
Atlanta. You can name
there's
several
a few
players down there you can check in with.
Right.
LA, Big U, all
easy, right.
But who is that person?
I think our state breaks up into, of course, the area codes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that's where it starts. You got 864, you got 803, you got 843. There's people in 843 with a totally different dialect than we have up here. There's someone in that 843 when you come to the Chuck that you have to tap in with. Now, I know in the 803, Columbia, you got people like Fat Rat Desar, you know what I mean, who's been put on a hip-hop festival for years down there. Brock, you know, the RZA's, Brock KRS-One down there. You got 864. There's a few names up here. You know what I mean? You know what we're doing at Top Shelf Entertainment. CEO Pig, he's from Spartanburg. You got yourself here. People who've been putting out music for a while, has their own platform. Merv, you got people. So it's like, was a lot of times, unfortunately, in hip hop, the streets meld with the art form because where the art form came from. It always came from the streets. You feel what I mean? When they're burning them buildings in the Bronx, when they just wanted to shout out what was going on, they went to the guy with the turntables and they were calling response. And those people were poor. They didn't have that cash. So if you wanted to come, when the Bronx started making money, you had to check in with them people. The Cool Hercs, you had to check in with them people. You want to throw a party on this block, you ain't checked in with Grandmaster Flash, your party ain't it. You know what I mean? Here, it has to be the same thing. You see people like Josh Knuckles, people like that, or you know, throwing parties and allowing, you know, those same artists to come down here. They're checking in with them. You know what I mean? They're making sure that they're tapping in with the people at the highest order. But in what ways are we making sure that happens every time? And I think that happens when we all come together. You know, and when we say come together, like sometimes we believe like that means we all have to agree. And that's not necessarily the truth. Like there's ways that we're all going to disagree, but we all have the same vision in mind, and that's to make sure that these streets are profitable. You feel what I'm saying? So I think we're in the early stages of figuring out what it looks like for us. Because it doesn't have to have a criminal connotation. It just has in the past. Maybe we're the example of what it looks like when it's not quite criminal. You know what I mean? Because first of all, we can get real deep into crime. Because like crime doesn't really exist until the police say so. And in the South, the police have been the biggest gangs. They have determined what the crime is. They've determined what ain't the crime.
Yeah.
And the people who have fell prey to it the most is us. Because we don't have much legal backing to stand on. I mean, think about it as black people. We don't even have ways. Like, there's certain ways you're not going to talk about the Asian community, the Jewish community, the Irish community. They have a code of ethics.
You can't say certain shit.
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing that exists for us. Someone can go on TV right now, say the N-word. It'll be just a topic of discussion. It will be a topic of discussion.
But you know why, right?
Why? Tell me.
Because we call each other that. You don't see Chinese people going around calling themselves a derogatory of their name. You don't see the mob calling each other that. But we've made the term that is so loose. They like, why should we respect you? Don't respect it.
Right. You know and I hear that perspective, but I also say that it's like, I might be able to joke on my cousin, but you're not going to joke on my cousin a certain way. That's how I always see that. Yeah. And like, for the people that haven't been given much or been having more taken away from them, if they take something and make it their own, and because you have not fulfilled your word, you got to let them have that. Now, if they actually gave us our 40 acres and a mule, if they actually gave us the penitence on the land from a lot of, because South Carolina's a lot of farmland. So your uncles, your great grandfathers, they had deeds on the land, but it was taken from them because the records were burned, things like that. So if those men want to call each other blah blah blah, let them have it, because they haven't done their part. You know what I'm saying? Those other cultures, they have their rights protected by the law. You know what I'm saying? Like when the Asian hate after the COVID thing, you know, Trump, he was out here calling it China virus. They moved swiftly to stop Asian hate. Yeah. Swiftly. There wasn't no marches you seen no Asians do. They didn't have no Asians Lives Matter. They used their influencers. You saw that thing pop up on TV a few times and some on your timeline. Right. They had an Instagram thing that came through and you already knew. They even had like the little Instagram layouts with Stop Asian Hate on it. Yeah. But we had to march just to people to argue that Black Lives Matter. Like, they still arguing it. Like, I know Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. They, like, dang, we can't even get a slogan. You feel what I'm saying? So, but I feel like, and I got to tread lightly, that if we actually retaliated in certain ways, that we feel the emotional distress of racism and poverty, if we started retaliating in certain ways, we'll see a lot of different change.
But here's my thing, and I'm glad you brought this up because I can have this conversation with you. I can tell. All right, so I had an incident happen recently, and it's gonna end up in litigation. Because this person went a little too far with something.
Okay.
All right. So my girl was like, yeah, that's racism. They're racist. See, I don't know if you know, I don't think racism exists.
Okay. I think I've heard you say that.
Yeah, I believe racists exist.
Right.
But I don't believe racism exists. So she wanted me to say the person was being racist, but I told her I don't even want to give them the satisfaction.
Right.
I don't look at people and I could clearly know they're being racist.
Right.
But I think
once you buy into it,
yeah, when I just keep looking at them as a person, they like, I can't move them. What is it?
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's that comfortability God in me. Where I don't care what color you are, how big you are. I'm gonna be who I am.
Right.
If you see me, think you see an army.
Right.
Because that's how I'm moving.
Facts.
Like, I'm an army. Like, so I don't care about that. But to your point, you know, when you're looking at that, it's certain things we're like, well, man, we can't even have that, you know. And you see all the funny memes about that.
Yeah.
Like, they might take a song and they dancing to it, or they might have remixed it, or But again, when you look back, it starts with the word we said, culture. You know, see, culture is, we have our belief of culture,
right? For sure.
But also, we have a culture that's attractive.
Yeah.
So people want to be a part of that culture.
Most definitely.
So
I think that comes from like also like the world is watching us. Like, here are what has been told, these small group of people in the world. We talk about over 6 billion people on Earth. The 0.000% of that population is us Black Americans, right? And it's historically known that they're marginalized. They're not given that, you know, there's this big thing out now where it's like the lady who's a politician saying, you know, I have a house that's in a primarily Black neighborhood. Like, there's a street that divides where primarily the white people stay. Just that street here, they've already devalued her house $125,000 less than across the street. And like, I seen another article, it was like a guy was trying to sell his house, Black man, trying to sell his house. So he took the pictures of him, you know, doing everything else. They got an appraisal amount. Then he knows his white professor. He got the white professor to do the same thing.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And they valued the house $150,000 more. And it's sort of like, how does that happen? Like, where does that come from? And I really believe, I hear what you're saying about like racism not existing, like the system in the way we're told, because I be around white people and I see that they're not as smart as we give them credit for. I think sometimes Black people, we do that. We assume that they are superior because we see them right. But we have to believe that for it to really work. Right. So if we stop believing that, it gives it power, mental power. I see what you're saying. But I also know that it's a numbers game. Right. And especially with us, first of all, the term black is a relatively new term, right? Our ancestors identified themselves by their tribes. You know what I mean? I'm from the house of Teasley, or I'm not from the house of blah, blah, blah. And you know what I mean? We grow our hair. You know what I mean? Certain things. That's our culture. We don't see our, like, black became like a political identity. It's like kind of how gay is now. Like, gay more to me is a political identity than a true sexuality.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And when things become political identities, it's because they're fighting over resources.
Yeah.
Numbers. They're fighting over the numbers because they see the white establishment getting their pieces of the pie because they've worked together to make sure, like, you'll have a politician that's in office, his buddy's a contractor. He makes sure his contractor buddy knows what contracts are coming down before the pipes go down through his quick little tips. Nobody bats an eye. You know what I mean? We are kind of taught, like, okay, you got to follow the rules and follow the system. So we'll see another brother about to do it, and you're like, well, you got to get in line with everybody else. You know what I mean? Because we don't. But when we see white people do it, we call it racism. You feel what I mean? And so I can see that.
That's what I was going to ask you. So a 2-part question. If people are attracted to our culture, should we gatekeep or should we allow? And then on the other side of that, we talk about, and this is just me being devil's advocate. So we say, okay, well, they got a better appraisal because they're white. Okay? They're on a level to where they can make those decisions.
Right.
What's the difference between us getting on a lower level, and I'm very transparent in my life. I sold drugs.
Right. Yeah.
I said, well, I'm about to tax that white boy. You know?
To get that bread.
But I'm at a lower level.
Right.
See, if I put myself in position to be at higher levels, I can help my people.
Right.
So maybe we need to get in more positions.
Right.
Than looking at what we're being hindered from.
Or maybe validate where we're at, right? Because think about it. If we're the number one culture, they're coming to us every time on what's cool, what's hot, what's the top dance, what's the number one lingo, how to walk. You know, our old uncles used to practice in the mirror how they was gonna walk. We don't do that no more.
Don't do it.
But that's what they was doing, and to a point where you see movies, you can tell when the white person is trying to do the walk. You know what I mean? Why are we being watched and stuff? If we're not validating what we're already doing, we're waiting for the white person to come and say, oh, that's hot, let me do it. And one of us goes up instead of saying, we already know we're cooking up how you know, the fire shit right here. Between us, we're black. You know, even on this show, we're giving it up. Our ideas, our style. You got your drip on. I got my drip on.
Sure.
So we've already made it in a unique way. The numbers may not align to what that population considers success, but you're watching me anyways.
Made it.
So I'm him.
Yeah.
I'm him.
Yeah.
And he's him.
Yeah.
Now we got to get the numbers to reflect what him means.
Yeah. And we're us. You know what I mean?
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we really have to, like, really digest. So, like, sometimes we have a convoluted idea of what success looks like because we see another population in our face all the time with what they're doing, what jet they're flying on, what house they have. And a lot of times they're miserable still watching our feeds to determine what's cool. So you tell me which one has the power.
Yeah. And then something else you mentioned that I kind of want to get your feedback on. So when you look at all of this and you look at even amongst ourselves, like sometimes there's a hesitation to support each other,
right? Or
there's a standoff. It's like, well, this is mine, that's theirs. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I don't remember what it was because I just put pods on and let them play.
Right, me too.
If I'm doing something, and the guy on there said, life has come to a point. He's a black man, family man. He's got 6 kids. He said life has come to a point where he's more comfortable and willing to take his chances, settling conflict with the police or people who don't look like him versus trying to settle it with people who look like him. And I thought about that. I'm like, And he said something at the end that it really stuck home. He was like, man, I could walk out here today, go to the corner store. I could step on somebody who looked just like me shoes. And it's a strong possibility one of us don't go home.
Right.
He said, so you got to really think. And so me and my girl was talking about it. And we started asking, like, well, we was thinking, what's the solution? Is it, and then even my the lady who do my hair, she chimed in on it. It was like, so is the answer potentially conflict resolution, or is the answer that we need to address shit from our past that make us so angry?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think as a society, like, how do we get beyond this? Like we want to kill each other versus...
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of generational trauma. That's for sure. I work in a lounge, shout out 93 Lounge, opening up August this weekend, Saturday. Yeah. And it gets packed. So a lot of times when I'm moving around, moving fast, I step on somebody's shoes.
Right.
Excuse me, guys. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing about stepping on your shoes. But, when it happens, immediately I'll touch his shoulder.
Yeah,
yo, my bad, big dog.
Yeah, for real.
That I wasn't trying to like flex, and I could sometimes feel the body, weight go from that enraged to like, okay, that's him.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, it's all right. I can,
yeah.
and I know that comes from not them just being mad about their shoes being stepped on, but the fact that the shoes cost them $270 something, so they had to make sure they were clean to come out here. So that was work, and then that was that $270 they were supposed to put over here, but you know what I mean. They got it right here on their feet. Yep. And they've made themselves look good for the spot, and they don't want to be embarrassed. All of these things that plague us a lot. Embarrassment in a dating world. In a dating world, some people are willing to get cheated on and a bunch of stuff behind closed doors. But the moment a person lives their truth and say, I'm doing this and this is the lifestyle that I live, watch how people that support you behind the scenes get uncomfortable on the scenes, because they're like, oh, this is embarrassing. Yeah. When it's like, it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. And that comes from generations of wanting to present themselves in front of other people and show that I'm not, this ain't happened to me, and I'm running things still. I'm still top chief, and it's not getting you anywhere.
It's not, man.
So a lot of times, what I found out, a lot of people know me for a lot of different things that I've done. I would bring myself down, in spaces of conflict. How you said the guy was like, I'm more willing to settle the conflict with. Now there's certain things that have happened in my time, in my life, that I am disappointed by, but then I'll gauge myself on why am I disappointed. Am I disappointed because my expectation of a person was different, or am I upset because what a person actually did, and is it toward me? You know what I mean? And sometimes certain things that happen to you, they're not towards you. It's just your expectation of whoever that person was. Yeah. And so sometimes, like I've been in some real situations the past couple of weeks, probably the past month, where I've had to have these real conversations with individuals that I've grinded with. And, it's been like, I feel like I deserve a certain level of treatment. You feel what I'm saying? Like when I go in the dating world, just because you have a cute face doesn't mean I'm gonna want your number. You feel what I'm saying? I want you to approach me a certain way as well. I want to smell your fragrance. You know what I mean? You got to charm me as well. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do all the work here because it's one of me and it's many. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of times I'll tell a person that, if it all falls apart, I don't see you as a bad person. I'm just saying our relationship just didn't work.
It didn't work. Right?
That doesn't make you less. That just makes either I over exaggerated your importance or my importance in your life, or I over exaggerate how you felt about me. So since those two things aren't as what my brain thought it was after reset, that doesn't make you worse. That doesn't mean we have to fight. That just means I'm getting a full understanding of my surroundings. But that doesn't mean I should wish death upon you or harm. Now, our environments may change. I may not kick it with you the way I was kicking it before, but that doesn't mean you're a worse person. That just means that you're not my people. It's the way I thought. And I think that's okay for us. Like, we're so used to everybody wanting to like us or wanting to appreciate us and wanting to be the most popular people. But sometimes your walk and journey is for you. And sometimes God wants you to discover everything that is in life for you. And you can't take everybody that you've been comfortable emotionally with. And that in itself is going to create conflict because you're going to have to tell a person, this is where the rubber meets the road right here, my G. And you will find your own way, though. You know what I mean? I don't hate you. I don't want the worst for you, but we can't go where I'm going together. You know what I mean? And, you know, that's just sometimes a tough conversation.
So let's talk now.
Yes, sir.
Where you at right now? Top Shelf ENT.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
TSC, TopShelfENT.com.
Okay.
You know what it is. Home of Trille. Trille's doing big things in the upstate, traveling up and down the road. You know, Pooh got it. He's on the way. Notice Me's on the way. We got Purdy. You know, Purdy is on the way as well. The Golden Child's on the way. We got my boy Kushtar Jupiter with the lingo. You know what I mean? We got work, man. We're doing some good things over there. Shout out to CEO Pig.
For sure. Shout out the whole team over there, man. I've been seeing what y'all doing.
Yes, sir.
Can't do nothing but respect it. So B100 Radio.
Yes, sir.
Now, when I first saw B100 Radio, it caught my attention just because of how it was colored up and everything. I'm like, oh, let me look into this. Now, some of the people may say, well, radio, and I know you've heard probably in the last couple weeks or so, it made big news that Angela Yu's leaving the Breakfast Club.
Most definitely. Right. iHeartMedia.
iHeartMedia. And they talked about, like, hey, is radio as we know it dead?
Yeah. So,
in this kind of lane where it is now, what made y'all think, like, okay, we can I don't want to say resurrect radio, but we can breathe a new energy in the radio.
Definitely breathe a new energy. I believe, you know, shout out to CEO Pig. We have a team, and there's belief in the structure of the team. Everybody has their particular thing that they do very well. Shout out to Tim Collins. There's people who are behind the scenes to make sure the logistics work. You got individuals like myself that know how to conduct myself with a mic in front of my face. You know, I've been in media and things like that. So I think CEO Pig, he just really, he had an opportunity with Trille, and through the relationship building with Miss Deb Anthony and her team, she saw opportunity observing us, how we move. You know, we'll go to a city, we move like a unit, move out like a unit. And I think she found those things kind of attractive. And, you know, he's a Virgo. So Virgos, you know, they're not going to turn down a challenge. And they believe, you know, in hard work and their dreams. So, and you know, I rock with that. I'm an Aquarius. So, you know, I'm not afraid of any hard work myself. So, you know, radio's dying. Internet radio is picking up where it left off, I believe, because the platform of internet radio is a little different than, you know, turning the dial, the FM dial. Internet radio, I believe, is the cousin to like the podcasting world, or the sister to podcasting world, because all you need is a strong internet connection.
That's it.
And you know, we're fortunate though that not only in addition to the strong internet connection, we actually have iHeartMedia's backing. So just like the Breakfast Club, who has iHeartMedia's backing through Power 105 in New York, we have that through internet grandfathered in, or it's only 7 internet stations that have that designation from iHeartMedia.
And pause for a minute, because I don't want people to get lost in, you mentioned Miss Deb.
Right.
Tell them, when you say Miss Deb.
Most definitely. Miss Deborah Anthony.
Deborah
Waka Flocka's mother. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Who found OJ the Juice Man, found Nicki Minaj. Yeah. Developed all those sounds. Gucci Man, LaFleur, shout out to WAP. She is very much responsible for that. She's, out of the family of Bimmy, who, was a roadie for Run DMC coming out of Queens, New York. She moved to the South early in the game to scout talent. You know what I mean? She's responsible for a good percentage of hip hop and how it is now, and even the stylings of it as well. You see Nicki Minaj, you see Miss Deb, put it that way. She's very much responsible. French Montana as well. And of course, a lot of people knew some of the legal woes she went through with Gucci. That's because I truly believe she believes in the people that she pours her energy into. Yeah,
I've seen quite a few of her interviews, and she look. I don't know her from a can of paint, but I could tell she look at those artists as her kids.
Most definitely.
That's why I heard
for sure. For sure.
So
she's from the streets, so the streets. There's a culture to the streets,
it is.
If I'm with you every day, we're grinding it out every day. I see you as an equal investment. I see you as a partner. I see you as family now. So, we have the similar makeup as well, where, if I'm grinding with you, I want to see results that come out of our relationship. And, Miss Deb, she's had this platform for 10 years. She's had to restart it and whatnot. And I believe, she sees South Carolina as an opportunity, and she sees the work that we're doing already in the state, and she's partnering with that.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to ask, what's her... Has she seen anybody where she's like, oh, they might be it? Or what's her overall, what does she think that South Carolina's missing? Because don't get me wrong, I like some of PG Rod's music, but the sound is all the same.
Right. It's
Black
that young
Zach,
boy's
I
bounce.
I like his music, but it's all the same.
Yeah, you got more of that grown man rap. You like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are the guys like that I like as well. Shout out to Play, shout out to Wordplay, Luck, Chemo, those guys. Jimmy Lee.
Yeah.
I believe that's more of like the grown man atmosphere rap. Yeah. But that rap doesn't get the same attention that a PG Raw, J Bills, Lil Mexico, that kind of sound, that the Baby kind of sound, where it's like a lot of bounce.
I think it's switching to that way though.
Yeah,
with all this Rico stuff and drill music,
yeah.
I think. Let me give you this here, right? And you tell me what you think, because this is my theory. I was listening to some old Outkast today. I don't even know why.
Bust your soul, man.
Speaker Box. Woo. Love Below. Right?
Tomb of the Boom. You feel me?
So Love Below to me was the change. Because think about it. Rapping and singing on a whole project, Dre just hopped out there singing.
Yeah.
Like he took and they say that's why they split it up. He wanted to take a leap. Big Boy wasn't ready.
For sure. And I think that was so crazy because Stankonia was before that. And I believe Stankonia was the first project they actually recorded where they weren't together. But they didn't divide the album.
They didn't.
But the Speaker Box Love Below, they show people these are two different visions now.
Different visions.
And the Love Below, I remember, because again, I'm a huge Outkast fan. This is 2003. They was not jiving with the Love Below.
No, they wasn't.
The love people have for the Love Below now is totally different than when it was first dropped.
The white people.
Okay, let's talk about it. Yeah. Because Hey Ya was the biggest record on there, and a lot of us was like, what is this? What
Look how he dressed, and I'm not rocking.
He got he got 15 versions of himself, and it's like he's making white people music. Yeah. That's what they was calling it.
When listening to the lyrics,
they wasn't digging deep.
He was
that last track where he was like, "Woo!"
Oh man. Yeah.
Where he tells us, he says, he talks about the Erykah Badu.
Yep.
Tyrone ain't my name.
Drake crazy. But the thing I thought about,
he's rapping on that.
He kind of changed it there.
He did.
Drake's latest album is about to change it back. That's what that was for.
I see.
This is the point where it's about to shift back, because even what got me tuned in, I heard Drake's album. Then I heard NBA Youngboy come out. You know what kind of artist he is.
And they got a lot of money behind
you. Type stuff on that. Then Rod Wave drops. It's a lot of that type sound. I'm like, hey.
It's that shout out to Snap Boy. Shout out to Snap Boy. He calls it trap blues.
Yeah.
It's trap blues.
Yeah.
It's that pain, but we're gonna put heavy 808s and drums. We're gonna put the melodies over it. Yeah. Rod Waves is a good example. Like Rod Wave, like when you see him perform, he looks sad. He really looks sad performing. Like he's singing songs that are really sad, but you look at his shows, they're packed out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they're packed out, and he's doing numbers on streaming. So the data is showing that the demographic, the 18 to 24-year-olds, this is what they like.
Mm-hmm.
Young boy, he's always telling sad stories. Some girl, girl didn't love him the way he wanted. Streets, losing somebody. The Dirk is kind of responsible as well.
Yeah,
because Dirk is seen as kind of a new artist, but he's been rapping for a while. Like, he came
this
up.
Ain't what you want, Dirk.
Yeah, right.
Really, Dirk. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
But he kind of then changed it into more the melodic sound.
He did.
And his Lil Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Baby is kind of the same in that same. I think Lil Baby is kind of like the biggest artist out of that. He's not as probably articulate on the media side, so you don't hear from him a lot. But his music is there.
Yeah.
And then you got Da Baby, who's out of this market that kind of like, okay, I'm gonna give you some of these comedy kind of raps, but then I'm gonna give you some real shit as well. You know what I mean? But I haven't heard that new Drake album. I'm of the aesthetic that I like, that raw rap. You know what I mean? And it just wasn't my kind of music.
I listen to everything. So it'd be like I might go home later on and put on like Aretha Franklin.
Oh yeah,
it's just whatever. I'm like, man, I'm about to twist one and listen.
Right. Yeah.
But, all right. So talking about that and the culture where it is now, something else I noticed about y'all, and you mentioned it. Shout out with Trill A. Yeah,
make sure y'all follow Trill A.
Trill A. I seen y'all with a couple other female artists.
Yeah.
You see what Glorilla doing right now. You see like
Sauceline 864, Sauceline Suave.
Shout out her. I saw her at a show.
She dope. The Diamond Diva coming out.
Shout out my dog Wan, yo.
Yeah, Wan. Wan is cold.
Wan too hard.
Wan is cold. Like
I fuck with
Wan PDF. Shout out to Wan PDF. Hard.
Yeah.
I saw Wan at the last party of the summer. They had over there at the Spinning Jenny and Greer. Wan and Sauceline 864, Sauceline Suave performed. And listen, the women are doing their thing, and they're really like how you talked about the Rod Waves, and those guys are making this like very less masculine, more feminine, tapped in with my feminine feelings type music. The women are taking on 100% masculinity of like, I'm gonna run these niggas up. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get this check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Trille comes out of the gate and she's like, if I leave a nigga, I don't want him back. I be milking niggas like I'm Similac. I'm the underdog now with the Thundercats. Like, that's player talk.
Player talk.
Like Tommy Bombshell with Saucelina Suave. That's player talk. They not talking that I want a please stay with me. Yeah. They talking that where the bread at? You done wasted my time.
Yeah.
That's what like we talked about Andre 3000. Like you really dig into his lyrics. He was really talking a lot of player talk.
Real player shit.
Okay.
Real player.
He was talking real player talk, and then he was talking a little politics with you. But so he was kicking flavor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like those are the type of artists that I really like that gravitate. Shout out to Larry June. I like Larry June too. I like to hear game when I play music. You know what I mean? I like Mrs. Jones. You know what I'm saying? We got a thing going on. Like that was some real player stuff. Like
super player.
You
feel me? Trust me so much. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's those measures. When I hear something, when I turn on music, I want to learn something that I didn't quite know before.
I can dig it.
That's what I look for. And a lot of these ladies now, they really showing us. And I like Shirley, when I first met her, I told her she gave me a lot of Mia X. Like she gives me a lot of Mia X vibe.
I could see that.
You know, Mama Mia, she was early in the game of like pimping. Like Mama Mia was not for the weak. You know what I mean? Like you had Lil' Kim out, you had Foxy Brown, but then the South had Mia X.
Yeah.
And she was raw. Like she was raw. Still is raw.
Yeah, she is. What I liked about those type rappers too, Mia X, cause I challenge my lady to do this. She do music. She hard. Shout out my lady, but it's like, man, let me hear something different. Like, don't give me that my pussy. Don't give me that. Give me the bag. I don't want to.
My man Maul said, not everybody's pussy that wet.
Everybody, bro. Like, bro, like it ain't. And then damn, like you. And that's why I look at. I like what the women are doing. Don't get me wrong, I like it. But I'm like, when are y'all gonna wake up and see the women who led y'all into this?
Facts.
They in relationships. They got kids. They cooking.
Listen, man, let's talk about it.
They niggas like what?
Look, the City Girls, both of them.
What are y'all looking at?
Every time you see JT, she hugged up with Uzi Vert, and Uzi Vert don't look happy to be there.
And listen, man.
And that's JT that talking about she scamming and running but she not running the scamming. Megan Thee Stallion,
real hot girl shit,
in love with Partisan Fontaine,
bro. Like, but these are people y'all look at like, I want to go.
They running the game on them.
They running the game, but shout out them. Like I do like what's going on.
Yeah,
I love it. And when I noticed that the women are making an impact in the game. Bro, you never pulled up to no gas station and saw a nigga pull up bumping a female's music.
Right.
When you see that?
Man.
I done seen it a few times recently.
You know who was hard, though, when I was coming up? Was Shauna. Shauna was hard.
My favorite
with Luda?
Yeah, she was hard.
Because they had a little thing going on between Luda and Shauna on records. Like, you could hear the chemistry was like... Yeah. Shauna was like that. I don't know what happened to Shauna, but she was like that.
My favorite was China White.
China White was hard,
China
too.
White was stupid hard.
Yeah.
Man. That was my favorite.
Yeah, China White was crazy.
I love China White, man. So, let me ask you this. So, I see y'all moving around doing the showcase.
Most definitely. Yes, sir.
I've seen showcases done around here, and I will say y'all had a very, very put together showcase. Shout out y'all.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. Appreciate that.
But some people are jaded from showcases.
Right.
How do we get people back?
Right. I'm glad we're talking about this. Yeah.
Showcases had become, and I ain't went to any in a while to see what they're doing, but it was just like a money grab.
Yeah.
You know?
And, there is I was one of those individuals that was like, you shouldn't be paying to perform. I'm huge on that. What's unique about what we're doing here is that it's a performance slot. You're not paying to perform, you're paying to get promoted. So the difference now between, I would say, showcases before is that, yes, you're getting that performance slot, you're performing in front of your crowd, but then we have the age of social media, right? So with the age of social media, we can take your content and we're putting it on all of our channels. On Instagram, you can click a song, what the song is, right? So we're putting your song on our content. That's new distribution. That's the modern distribution. Like the music industry right now, I want y'all to hear this. They're trying to figure out how to monetize TikTok, and the war is right there in TikTok. where TikTok is a music streaming service now, not a place where you just post photos and videos. Like they might have a funny video, but they got their song behind it.
Absolutely.
You're like, whose song is this?
Yep.
So now the artists are trying to figure out how to quantify those streams, right? Because that generation is doing that more than just going to Apple Music and finding your music. That's our generation, right? So this new age of distribution is that, okay, there's so many artists that are being born every day. Every day there's somebody who's waking up like, you know what, I'm tired of being a dentist. I'm about to rap.
Yeah.
Or I'm about to sing. I've been singing for my whole life. Why haven't I started?
Yep.
So, okay, you know, that plus the songs that come out in that same day. There's millions of songs that come out that same day. So how are you going to break the mold, right? So shout out to B100, the B100 showcase. We just was at Purple Buffalo August the 10th. We're in Charlotte tomorrow, August the 24th. We're in Columbia August 31st. We're in Augusta, Georgia, September 1st. And we have a big celebration for B100 on the 7th and the 8th of September. Shout out to CEO Pig. So, you know, these stops here, we're bringing Miss Deb. Like, it's not like we're begging her to come. Like, we were in the Purple Buffalo before that event, networking. Shout out to Juice LaRock. And, you know, we went live, and she saw us on live in the Purple Buffalo. Her comment says, "Why am I not there?" Right? So, you know, Miss Deb, to move her from Atlanta, Georgia to anywhere, it's going to cost bread. She just not, you know, she's going to do it out of the love because she loves us, but we have to show that we appreciate her time and her energy. So we have to accommodate as well, right? So that's just, I'm giving y'all a game on how the game works. You have to learn, in this game, you got to learn how to accommodate those people that are going to make the world spin for you, because the world is spinning. But how do they know that you're the dopest, right? And Ms. Deb, she's, you know, at the Purple Buffalo, she spent a good 30 minutes chopping up game with artists, getting a mic and allowing them to ask her questions. Man, I wrote rhymes coming up in Malden. If I had an opportunity that I could be in a room with a A&R, a business, a label exec, Miss Deb right now is in content. She's on Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. You know what I mean? On the show with Bow Wow, Da Brat.
Yeah.
She's a regular on that show. Waka Flocka, her son. So she knows the video content world. She's producing it there. So she's really like coming out of that world to talk to rappers. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
So for her to even want to do that, we have to invest, right? So you're not paying just to perform. You're not paying just to get on the stage and just rap. You're paying to get expertise. Like our last show, we had artists that wasn't even ASCAP BMI'd. You feel what I'm saying? So they're hearing her talk about this, and they're like, Miss Deb, I've never heard that before in my life. How do I do this, that, and the third?
Man,
you paid $50 to get on the stage and perform your song, right? But you didn't pay $50 to perform your song. You paid $50 to get in the room and to get game. And so now you know, okay, I need to be ASCAP BMI. I just had this interaction with Ms. Deb. B100, not only did they follow me, every time we post on B100 Radio SC, we got to go ahead to hit the collaborator with B100 Radio World. And all of our content is on our page, shows up on their page. And if you go to their page at B100 Radio World, you'll see promotional flyers, and then you'll see content. That content is South Carolina. So she's trusting us at Top Shelf Entertainment to show her what South Carolina artists are serious. So she can get behind that. So she can, you know, Ms. Deb is an underdog rooter. That's how Gucci Mane LaFleur got where he was at. We forget when Gucci Mane first came out, he was a mockery.
Absolutely.
No, like it was only lyrical miracle rappers making it, and here you got this guy with a slurred speech, shirt off, chains dangling, talking trap shit, making very like nursery-ish rhymes.
He was a micro of the mainstream. The streets knew what was up.
The streets knew what was up. And that's how Miss Deb knew what was going on. Like she saw how he was moving in the streets. She's like, oh, the streets gravitate to this guy. He's a star. Let's hone into it. Let's double down into it. Gucci probably didn't expect that kind of a jump in his life because he was okay being just a trap star, but he became a national phenomenon with someone partnering with him. So shout out to Diamond Diva. Shout out to my boy who won it last time. Dang, it's escaping my brain. But we went out to the 843, and these artists showed out. They knew what time it was, and let me tell you, the hospitality we got in that room, because again, we were traveling from the upstate across the state to set up. Like, I'm not getting paid. It's not like money that I'm making out of this. Right. I'm gonna let y'all know I DoorDash in between here. When I leave here, I'm about to DoorDash again. You know what I'm saying? I'm scraping up $15 orders. You dig? You know what I'm saying? Buckets of chicken. You feel me? Like easy stuff. So like my time is really money. You feel what I'm saying? Literally, like where I'm like, I can make $50 in 30 minutes. So not saying I'm rich, but that's how I quantify my time. Yeah. So for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna travel 4 hours, with a bunch of these niggas. Yeah. Nah. But with my family and tap into this room, set up, boom, boom, lights, camera, action. We're in a place that's not really our spot, and we're making it look like it's our spot. Listen, we set up probably the doors open at 8:00. We probably didn't get the show started off to about like 9:45. When I was coming in with those banners, I was coming in by myself. You could feel the artists like, yo, we paid, let's go. But they saw once the lights came on and things get to going. Butterworld, DJ Bubbles in the booth, rocking the booth out. They dropping that Trill out there. They showing that, oh, these are the artists we've already partnered with, and this is how we're playing their music in these spaces. And then you got CEO Pig, and then you got Big Plug on the stage. Big Plug, she's Big Plug. She thicker than a Snicker. You feel me? And so you see the eyes go from like, okay, I can tell that these guys know what they're talking about. Juice LaRock working the room, and then I'm on the red carpet doing live interviews. So I'm streaming live, and so my live stream is already connected to B100's live stream as well. I just send the stream link to Miss Tina Brinkley. Shout out to Miss Tina. And she puts it on their platform. She's watching the stream as we're streaming. So that Atlanta crowd that is already their fan base is becoming our fan base as well. So the artists that come up to these showcases, we're telling them, have your EPKs, your electronic press kit, so we can know what to promote. We need that. We need to see what you're about. We need to see what music, so this is what you're paying for. You're paying for us to do this research. You're paying for us to drop these names in interviews. This is real promotion. This is the modern day time. More people are consuming content than music now. We just talked about how we'll turn on the podcast and let it play. Because we want to get more information, right? So we know to get the attention span back into Apple Music, back into Tidal, back into Spotify, we got to talk about it. Right? So I tell artists, how are you going to make it interesting for me and the media? Like, I need to know, like, I'm not, because, me and my boy CEO Pig, we differ a lot on the opinion of, like, CEO Pig is way more fair, where he's like, even if you think a guy maybe having trash music, if he paid, you got to kind of give him the respect of, I'm in this slot. These other people who you think are way more, they not putting up the bread to get in this particular slot. You got to kind of give them the love, and there's truth to that. But I come from the culture where if I knew Jay-Z was going to be in the room, I'm coming with my
best.
Oh man, I'm not going to try nothing that I just wrote yesterday that I don't know that doesn't work. I'm not going to smell a certain way. I'm going to make sure I'm ready for this moment, because I may not ever see this person ever again.
Yeah.
Right? We hear the story about Cole. He was standing out there in the rain to give Jay-Z his demo tape. This is J. Cole.
Yeah.
And Jay-Z brushed it off to the side and told him to give it to his security man.
Get it out of here.
Like, that's where we come from.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking like Miss Deb is with us. you need to be on your P's and Q's. 'Cause that's how I take them. You know, you saw us at the lunch party, right? Miss Deb, she didn't come there until late. She's celebrity. It was up to me to continue to keep the people entertained and to show the artists that were already performing that we had a show prepared for you to promote and to network, right? So when Miss Deb finally came, the room was already ready. I mean, like, you could tell people were looking at their clout, like, when she coming.
Yeah.
And when she came, you can tell she had a lot to give. She did the same question at Q&A session. People ask questions there. So that's why I tell artists these days that doing a regular showcase, yeah, I get it. But if you see B100's logo on there, this is not just a regular showcase. You feel what I'm saying? This is where the best of the best, the artists are watching. This is Miss Deborah Anthony. So you got to understand, the industry insiders, they're watching her. She's like one of the oldest talent scouts of the industry. She's still one of the most respected
You have to
eyes and ears in the game. So if she's talking to me and she's like, you need to do this better, you need to do this better, I'm hearing game and opportunity. I'm not hearing, she must think I'm weak. No, I got this woman's energy. So if I got her energy, that tells me, like you said, she sees me as one of her own. She sees me as WAP, OJ Juice Man, and Nikki. So she's like, yo, you got a talent. Go all the way in. So every time I know she's going to be around, I find ways on the content side of B100 to ensure that she sees the money's been poured into it and that we're doing the best. So we've live streamed a couple of shows. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube at Top Shelf Entertainment and follow us at B100 Radio SC on Twitter and Instagram. You click that link in the bio, you see our content. We stream live at the last party of the summer, and those weren't our showcases. We just showed up as media. We set up our Mevo cameras. Shout out to the Virtual 3 studios. We put one at the stage to show the performers that we're streaming you live on all of our platforms. We had 2 other cameras set up where the interviews were. So in between interviews and performances, we were talking, we're shooting the breeze, showing people that we're here to create content. We're doing content marketing. That's what you're paying for.
right.
So, like, just know what platform you're dealing with. You know what I mean? Now, if I was just, when I was on my own, without outside the team, just doing it, I wouldn't charge anybody to do an interview or to perform because it was just me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, you know, it was from a way that I was building my own resume, getting my name out there. But now I'm part of a machine.
Part of a team, boy. It comes with the price.
Facts.
Definitely do.
Facts.
Listen, Shim. Hey, man, we could do this all day.
Oh, man, for sure.
And we're going to have to do it again.
Oh, yeah,
we
for
gotta
sure.
do it again.
Shout out to the Gym Complex, man.
Yeah, shout out to Gym Complex. I appreciate you coming to
I
sit
appreciate
down.
it, man. I appreciate it a lot.
B100 Radio SC, man.
Yes, sir.
I wish y'all nothing but success. Top Shelf
Thank you.
Entertainment.
Thank you.
Y'all got a team going.
Yes, sir.
And I see what y'all are doing, and I respect people who put in their work, man.
Yes, sir. The truth is, man, shout out to I Say Podcast.
Word.
Like, you guys have been putting in content work.
Yeah, man.
You guys are one of the most respected, voices in the upstate hip hop world. And if you're in the state of South Carolina, you need to tap in at Gym Complex. Come do a shoot. Come sit down with I Say. And listen, man. You guys got shows on shows. You know what I mean? I really like the show. Shout out to King Joshua and Chantel. Chantel's birthday is today.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys stream that I Want You.
Yeah.
He got some real dope work. He does some real
Joshua
dope work with his hands.
Man. I fuck with him.
So, and I see how you guys are moving over there. You know what I mean? And, anything that I can do to help, to cross promote, what it is.
Yep.
I'm here to do it. This is our culture.
This is it, man.
And I feel like we are gatekeepers in a unique way.
Yeah.
And we have to be responsible with that, and we got to have fun with it. You know what I mean? So, a lot of times people in our position don't collaborate as much as they should, and I want to be an example of what it looks like when you do.
When we do it, we can do it, man.
So shout out to y'all, man, for real.
Yeah, appreciate it. Number love, brother. So, hey, is the real truth. I Say Podcast. Truth is LLC.com. We live from the Gym Complex. This was part 1 of a conversation for the culture.
Yeah.
Shout out Shem.
Yeah.
We out.